You're listening to the Maryland Fishing Line, a production of the Chesapeake Angler magazine. And now your host, Brian Rains.
Welcome to the Maryland Fishing Line, episode 9. I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
This is the episode for July 21st, 2020. It's a podcast where we talk about fishing throughout the great state of Maryland. You see, I'm focusing on saying my F's since I'm still without teeth.
Well, I am fishing for our episode show notes because I was on 8.
The Maryland Fishing Line is a production of the Angler magazine, Chesapeake Edition. The Chesapeake Angler can be found throughout southern Maryland and Arundel County and the Eastern Shore. If you would like to see it in your area and it's not there, please let us know, and we will make sure to get it there. How you doing this week, Joey?
Pretty good.
We'll catch up on what's going on in the fishing scene for both of us here in a little bit. I've been fishing. I know you fished.
I've been sleeping.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think I didn't hit the water once since last episode.
It's been so hot out, it hasn't made a difference.
Yeah.
I
am keeping the fish safe. That's what I'm calling it.
It hasn't made a difference. Well, I mean, it's hot and mortality rate
is high.
Yeah. So unless you're
going to keep them.
Yeah. Or
I'm a big catch and release guy.
I like catch and release too. So
yeah.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the state before we get too deep in ramblings of our own. We're going to change things up a little bit. And instead of doing our reports based upon geography, because I felt like we were repeating stuff a lot. It's like you talk about the upper bay and then you talk about the middle bay and you're just like saying, oh, white perch. So we're doing things different. Let us know. Give us some feedback if you like this format better than geography. We're actually going to do it by species.
I like that better.
So instead of doing a lot of crossover between locations, we should be a little bit more concise. And started out with the Chesapeake Bay motherfish.
Convict bass.
Yep. Striped bass. Top water action remains strong at Conowingo Dam and on the Susquehanna Flats in the early morning hours. Live lining or chumming is a great way to get on those fish right now throughout the whole of the bay, upper to lower. Trolling the channel edges is a strong second option, pulling either umbrella rigs or bucktails behind those inline sinkers. These fish seem to be holding suspended in 25 feet of water. So if you can find them on your graph, jigging for suspended fish is also an option. So please keep in mind, we're just talking about that oxygen levels are low and water temperatures are high. This combination leads to those high mortality rates. So do what you can to minimize that. Make sure you use an offset circle hooks when fishing live or cut bait and handle those fish quickly and carefully. One of the best things you could do right now is consider targeting another species while these conditions exist.
Much like the bluefish.
Yeah.
They are back after their long hiatus.
Bluefish are back on the menu, boys.
Yeah. Pretty much look for them wherever you find bait fish, below or on the surface. Pretty much, I mean, I feel like when bluefish are here, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And
they just love to rip the tails off your little
you get the little fellows. You know, like the ones that are like size of your hand. Yeah. Bigger than that, I mean, hold on. I mean, I'd pick like a 30-inch bluefish over a 30-inch striper.
Oh, yeah. I was fishing one time in the Outer Banks, and we were looking for bluefin. We'd gone out looking for yellowfin, and we'd limited out on the yellowfin, and we turned around and were looking for a bluefin, and came across a school of bluefish, some of the biggest ocean bluefish I have ever seen in my life. Talking 25, 30-pound bluefish. They were massive.
I think one of my biggest was like 33 inch. I mean, it was on my paddleboard 2 years ago at Henlopen.
No way, really?
Which is one of the scariest things I've done because I hooked a sandbar shark, which isn't a big thing, but it was a big fish. But a bluefish and pulling that up on your paddleboard without I was like, there's my toes. Or I'm going to pull myself in. But
how big was it? You said 33 inches?
It was huge. I mean, it was.
Golly.
But they come over there and you kind of stalk them. You can see their backs out of the water.
Yeah,
it's a whole different type of fishing when they're that big and over in the flats.
That sounds exciting.
It was cool. It was scary. Everyone probably thinks I'm a wimp now. But, no. I mean, you're on a paddleboard without shoes on and the whole thing's exposed. You pull that thing up over and it's. I mean, I've had them rip my fingers open, but my toes hurts.
You could lose a toe. You'll lose an eye.
With a fish that big.
Put an eye out or lose a toe. Yeah. Cobia. That's got everybody excited. This is where a lot of the action is right now. But you do have to work to find them. Looking for them in chum slicks, and trollers are finding these fish alike. Down near the target ships, I heard there's been big runs of cobia. They've been in Virginia for a little while. They just popped across the line within the last few weeks. My brother went out. He sent me a picture just a few days ago. Had a big old cobia, and he staked it and was real excited about that. He said it was quite tasty. So they are wonderful table fare.
Yep. And all right, it's just my white whale. What do they call it? Redfish or puppy drum? Not the
the puppy drum's the little ones.
The puppy drums,
the big ones.
The redfish. Yeah. So there are lots of puppy drum in the feeder creeks and big bull reds in the bay. Target ship, which usually holds a lot of them, is home to them right now. For the big bulls, and you can find them sight casting, chumming, and trolling.
You said that's your white whale. What's the biggest one you've had?
Redfish? I haven't caught many big redfish at all. That's why I want.
Okay.
I don't want the big red drums. I want the.
You want the redfish?
I want the red. Yeah.
Not
I want the
drum.
25, 30, 30 big. I want them in tight water.
Yeah.
Kind of like you would do in Charleston and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go down soon to Wilmington and fish for them, but I've actually been seeing pictures of them in Solomon's feeders, like decent sized fish, down in St. Jerome's and stuff. So I slept in when I was trying to fish for them this week. So,
okay, we're gonna look at specs, and we got let's start with. There's a huge run of specs going on right now, and it's only going to continue to get thicker as we head into the fall. Now, we got an email over the last week from Nicole asking us to do a deep dive into catching specks in the bay. So I did my homework because it's not my big fish. I'm not a big speck fisherman. I told her, I was like, I'm the freshwater guy, I feel like, and you're the saltwater guy.
It happens.
So freshwater happens. So let's understand a little bit about the fish first. So speckled trout is a member of the croaker family, which I did not know.
Yeah, they're not actually
they're not trout.
Well,
I knew they weren't trout, but I did not know they were they were related to the croaker.
Largemouth is part of the perch family, right? Too.
When you look at a speckled trout, and once I saw that, and you look at the fish, it's like, oh, you can actually see it. I didn't know it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm late to the party.
Yeah.
And they like some very specific habitat. They thrive in shallow water areas with aquatic vegetation. And this is going to equate and going to look like shorelines around the mouths of rivers and creeks.
Yep.
So what we're going to look for is eelgrass and any submerged aquatic vegetation. But let's take a look now at what they eat. So we know where to find them. Now, what is it that they eat? So they love to eat on crabs, shrimp, and small forage fish.
Yep.
So they're not eating that grass. They're not vegetarian fish.
Oh, no.
I learned
got some big old teeth, too.
Yeah, they got those teeth that stang right out front, like fangs, like a little dragonfish.
Like jackalopes teeth.
So now that we know what kind of habitat it likes and we know what it likes to eat, let's put those two pieces together. And that seems simple, but many anglers spend a lot of time searching out and looking for speck places. And they don't share those secretly as openly as you might imagine. If you are looking for the well-known place to go, you want to think about Tangier Sound. I think that's everybody agrees.
The whole area down there is ridiculous with them.
So if you wanted a guaranteed lockstep, I'm going to go find my specs, I think Tangier Sound is where you're looking for. Yeah. Otherwise, you're needing to do your homework on talking to people. If you can find people that will actually share information with you, or you're spending time on Google Earth, which I do a lot for freshwater. Yeah. Spend a lot of time on Google Earth, like looking at little ponds and trying to figure out where water is. You can catch these fish on live bait, cut bait, on the fly for you, Joey, and obviously artificials. But let your choice of bait be dictated by local conditions. So match forage. I mean, that's fishing 101.
Match the hatch and the fly fishing terms.
So as an example of that, if a soft crab run is going on in a shallow, grassy area, then what are you going to want to fish? Cut peelers or soft crabs. That's what you're going to want to fish. Doesn't make any sense, to do anything else. During other periods, though, when trout are mainly feeding on bait fish, cut spot or live baits might be more effective. So, you're finding the right location. Once you're there, you're trying to figure out what they're eating. Once you figured out what they're eating, then you throw a bait that looks like that or is that. Okay. Best baits most of the time, though, if you're going to say, this is what I need to go out with, peeler crabs, soft shell crabs, fresh shrimp, bloodworms, and cutfish. And if you want to throw artificials, match your tackle to local bait fish. I mean, that's, again, in many parts of the Chesapeake Bay, the most abundant food sources are food. Sorry, everybody. Food sources are bay anchovies, killifish, menhaden, spot, and white perch. So, again, like Joey said, match the hatch with your artificials.
Yep.
So simple jigs rigged with soft plastic bodies, grub style, or slender bodies, or small shad bodies work great. Bucktail type jigs are also popular, especially when combined with lure bodies or bait strips. Mm-hmm. Other popular lures include small spoons, metal jigs, swimming plugs, and even surface chugs.
Yeah.
If I had to have one bait, based on my homework and my experience in talking to people, if I had to have one bait to throw in all conditions, it's going to be a white paddle tail plastic combined with an erratic retrieve. That's an understanding that I have now too, is that they don't like that rhythmic. They like it kind of herky-jerky.
Yeah.
So match that retrieve with that bait and should be good to go.
Yep.
One of the most popular ways to target specks is to cast lures along points, grass bed edges, or other structure. You can also do some slow trolling in these same areas to cover a larger area. And this is where it gets fun for us because we're kayak fishermen, because most of the fishing occurs in very shallow water. Small boats are preferred. When launch sites are available near prime fishing areas, that's when you're going to want to pull the kayak out of the arsenal or some other small boat. Mm-hmm. So I think that hopefully that covered what she was looking for. I think that was sort of a deep dive into the world of the speckled trout. Do you have anything to add to that? Any experiences that you've had?
No, you might lucky and hook yourself a red while you're doing that.
Yeah.
So similar conditions and same with bait.
Same kind of places.
Yeah.
And obviously if that fish is feeding, if you're matching the hatch, then if there are other species in that area, they're going to be feeding on the same thing too. So you can sort of double dip.
There's a lot of good, what is it? Gulp makes those jars. A lot of like over in Henlopen and stuff and the Eastern Shore. Even the guys fishing the islands use a lot of the Gulp stuff.
I do too.
Yeah, it's like their go-to.
When I go out to the schoolies, that's why I always tip my bucktail with either a white or a yellow Gulp. Some sort of a.
And I feel like the amount of the few different species that people aren't used to normally catch when they fish for specks, because flounder will pop up there a lot too.
Same kind
with
of
the same techniques in the same area and the same type of fishing, so you could have a good day with all that. But I need time on water this year.
Well,
I only caught a handful of them last 2 weeks ago, and
didn't you also tell me that that's sort of a midday fish too?
Usually but I used to go to the islands a lot for them over on the Eastern Shore. But yeah, I always feel like it's a good midday fish or right at sunrise.
Okay.
So
you don't have to have that butt crack of dawn thing going on.
Correct. Yeah, that's why I didn't mind going someplace in the middle of the day. Just wear your sunscreen. Well, I feel like you just read us the encyclopedia, and I'm over here Spanish mackerel. You find Spanish mackerel right now busting schools of bait fish alongside the bluefish.
They're all there together.
Basically, you find the bluefish and just reel in a little bit quicker.
Well, as I was going through looking
as you can
for research, and if you think what was you said a few weeks ago? If you think you're reeling fast enough, reel faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
White perch, they're all over everywhere. That's your perennial summer fish.
I told you I caught some big white perch.
Yeah.
I think on the last episode, but those things are huge.
I saw some pictures of some white perch on Instagram that somebody had caught. I swear it looked like it was as long as his forearm.
Yeah.
It was the biggest white perch I've ever seen in my life. I had to look at it twice. It's like, is that really a perch? So they're going to be found in all types of water throughout everywhere. Chase them for them after them in tidal rivers and creeks by casting small spinners on light tackle, or throw the bottom rigs with bloodworm, shrimp, or minnows.
And then the ever-living spot, which
I love spot.
You can fall in a puddle and find spot right now.
I love spot.
Look for spot on hard bottom areas or shoals with the same bottom rigs with bloodworms that you use for white perch. And speaking again of bloodworms, they are in short supply right now, so if you need them, buy them. Don't wait thinking you'll find one at the last minute. It's kind of how everything is right now.
True.
You keep them for several days and just make sure you flip the bags. Pro tip is add a little protein powder to the bag to fatten them up and to keep them from eating each other. You can also mix some night crawlers up with the bloodworms juice as you are cutting bait.
You ever done that?
No, I haven't used much of the bloodworms, night crawlers.
If you're going out looking for a white perch or spot, it's all about the bloodworms. The kids came down to the pier at the house the other day and caught a whole slew of perch right off of the pier. They went to take the boat out, and the motor on the lift didn't work.
On the Parker?
I was like, wah, wah. But we're getting that fixed. So.
And you were trying to sell me that thing.
I'm not trying to sell that boat. That's my boat. That boat ain't going nowhere. I actually got to get off the kayak and get on that boat. Looking for largemouth. Continued summer patterns with early mornings and late evenings offering the best shallow water bite, except for right now when the water is basically boiling. That steam in the water you see very early right now in your little ponds, that's not actually condensation coming off the water. That's actually smoke. The water is actually burning right now. It is so hot.
You serious, Clark?
During the heat of the day, use some soft plastics, crankbaits, or jigs around some deeper structure or anywhere you can find shade. That's your best bet, because like today I fished, and it was like was not sitting in the sun. It was early morning too, and I would like back the kayak up, butt into the bank, sitting in the shade underneath the tree
until a snake falls in.
I don't care about that. I want to sit in the shade. If you're fishing any of the tidal rivers, schedule an early morning or evening outing around a falling tide, and look for the grass or the spatter dock.
Sorry, a little dead air.
It's okay.
Snakehead, basically the same thing. These are the same as largemouth tactics, but you'll find them within the same space as northern. Oh man, I really butchered that. Okay. Space as northern snakeheads. They are post spawn now and should be eager to feed, as you can see in Brian's videos. They will jump on spinnerbaits or chatterbaits, as well as topwater frogs early and late in the day. If you want to target snakehead with live bait, large minnows under bobbers is your best bet.
Snakehead destroyers.
Yeah.
You seen some of those minnows they fish with over on the eastern shore out of Blackwater? Yeah.
It's like they're like the little spot.
You could make a sandwich out of some of those things. You put 3 or 3 of those on a hot dog bun, you got lunch, man.
You just ruined hot dogs for me for the week.
Don't eat your bait, people. That's a good tip. Pro tip, don't eat bait. Catfish. Lower Susquehanna and Chester River are seeing both blue catfish and channel catfish on cut bait, clam snouts, and just about anything that smells bad. If it smells bad, throw the water on a hook and you'll catch a catfish. An old boot, a shoe, it doesn't matter.
I used to eat I told you my dad used to do carp fishing all the time. And the garlic corn, I told you I used to eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ate the garlic corn?
Oh, it's delicious. Garlic powder and some corn. Oh, yeah.
So I've been watching these guys on YouTube that fish out in the Midwest for catfish, and they take chicken breast, like a whole chicken breast, and they'll soak it in strawberry Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
I've never even thought about what is
grandpa,
that?
Strawberry, strawberry Kool-Aid and maybe some like dough too.
Why?
Dough
Why? Why? Why would it? Is it just because it smells?
Strawberries taste good.
We just had strawberries.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Joey made a little dessert.
I don't know. Catfish are freaking everywhere, but I did have catfish for dinner last night.
You know what? Now that, because it's the 21st, I'll talk about this in my catch up, but it's the last day for the tournament, for KBF tournament for July. I want to go catch some catfish.
I do too. I think I was either telling you or Eric, I want to go out just one evening just for catfish.
And because you know why I want to do that?
Because I love eating them.
Well, that, but also it's like I've been beating banks, and you know when you're bass fishing, you're throwing a bait, and it gets a little old. Yeah. I don't want to say monotonous because it doesn't get monotonous.
But you do it a lot.
But I do it a lot, and you're just continually beating the water, and to be able to just put a bait on a hook, on a nice circle
bobber
hook or a bobber, and drop it down the bottom, and just sit in the kayak underneath of a with the anchor dropped, and just kind of chill and chat. And
that's the way to do it.
We're doing that.
Or even panfish, bobbers and night crawlers for the kids are fun for the kids and adults alike. This is a perfect time of the year for a good late evening at a local pond, introducing the kids to fishing. And a fat bluegill makes for a good fish sandwich.
You like bluegill?
I don't think I've ever eaten bluegill.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat a bass. When I was a kid, we'd go down to North Carolina, and we'd always, that would be the weekend thing. You'd go down for a week or so to visit family, and you'd fish, and you'd come back with a big old stringer of bass and bluegill, and they'd have a big old fish fry. But I don't eat. I release bass now.
I think I have a picture when I was a kid holding up a bass in front of my house. My mom liked them.
Yeah,
but I've never eaten a bluegill.
I don't think that bass taste very good. I think they're tough. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Everything's why when you buy it at the store.
True.
I don't know. There's some panfish is fun to catch, even as an adult.
Yeah.
Especially for people who, I don't know, I like taking out like my 3-weight fly rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Little rubber spiders.
Yeah,
little foam, rubber spiders.
Little flies
eggs.
you buy.
Yeah.
I usually tie everything except for stuff for bluegill.
Yep.
Or some foam creations I make up.
That's another thing I should do in this little hiatus is break out my little 5-weight.
See, that's what I'm saying. Bluegill is a good way to get people back into fly fishing or get people into fly fishing.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, because you put one of those things on and they get sideways in the water.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're strong.
Yeah.
And you're and tie like a nice light leader on there, a little tippet.
Yeah.
It'll make you learn how to like pull a fish in properly instead of like just reeling it in fast as you can on braid.
So one fish I didn't put on here was flounder, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of people catching flounder in the bay. Have you? I haven't seen any reports.
There's certain areas, I wouldn't say bay, but like there's places over on certain parts of the southern part of the bay, over in Delaware, where they are destroying flounder this year.
Really? Okay.
And I reposted I could talk about this in my catch up. Never mind.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Well, I said I reposted a picture from a couple of years ago, but we were going over to Hinlopen in the flats, and I love doing that. I love catching flounder like that.
Huh.
And it's the same way with like we're throwing shrimp and crab patterns on the fly.
Yeah.
And the guys with the gulp on the pier are probably catching 2 to 1, us on the flies, but I mean wading in a few feet of water and catching 20 something inch flounder.
That actually sounds
that's a
pretty cool.
blast.
That sounds pretty cool.
And those things are pretty nasty too if you you're in the water.
Yeah.
That's man, that was a good flashback. We couldn't go this year because up until recently, the parks or a couple of the areas we like to go were shut down. Like you couldn't. People were getting tickets, getting onto the beach.
Why?
Well, they shut everything. They didn't want people out on.
I see.
So it wasn't open until recently, and you only have so much of a window because then you start messing around with wading in the water with sharks.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be.
Now, when you wade like in that, do you wear waders?
Yeah. Well, it's the Atlantic. I mean, it's still cold up until like.
Yeah, I was wondering what time of the year.
I think we were doing it till the end of June. I don't want to get too detailed with it, but Tony might kill me. No, we were wearing waders.
We used to go down to the fall down to the Outer Banks and and look for bluefish and puppy drum.
Yeah.
And you weren't in the water, but you still wore waders because you're on the beach and you're getting wet and it's
yeah. No, we
chilly.
went. I mean, if you get the tide right, in a lot of these areas too, where you can find. I mean, we're walking really far out.
Yeah.
But you got to like keep an eye on that tide because
right.
Because you don't want to get. You better wear a wader belt for that. I mean, you could go on a nice little trout stream and get away without a wader belt, but you don't have a wader belt on for that.
I was in Maine last fall for a bike tour. I led a bike tour up in Maine. I was 3 weeks up there on the coast of Maine, and we started in Bar Harbor, and I was blown away by the height of the tide swings.
Oh yeah,
you're talking 9, 10, 12-foot swings in 8 to 10 hours. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And they had a lot of places where you could connect an island, and if you got caught on the wrong side, there was actually a sign on the island that said, call this number and it's this many dollars to get you and pick you up and bring you back.
Geez, that's ridiculous.
Because they would have people all the time. They just walk across and they're not even thinking about the fact that literally 30 minutes later, that's going to be, a foot of water that you just walked over dry rocks. And it was just blew me away.
I tell you, I got stuck over on the islands, might have been like 8 years ago.
Where?
Bloodsworth.
Oh no! Did you really?
We were fishing for specks and reds, and this guy Jamie, he had it was a Pathfinder, so it's like a big bay boat, it's like a big flats boat, but we could actually cross the bay with it. But that's why they call them big bay boats, I guess.
Yeah.
But we got pretty deep up a creek, and we got the tide cycle off, and we couldn't get the boat out for a little bit. And I have a video, I think, on my Facebook still of us getting out of there. We had just enough water, and it scared the crap out of me because where we were, we had enough where we could kind of, we had room, but areas getting out were really shallow. And he got back pretty far. He's like, I really have to get up to speed with my jack plate up, and I will skip across this mud flat. And you could, we did that to get out of there. Otherwise, we were going to stay there all night.
That's scary.
Yeah. He's like, really, you better hold on and sit up front. And he got up to speed really quick, planed off, got the jack plate up. And like a huge section of this mud flat that was barely underwater.
Oh,
it seemed like we kind of just
nothing but the prop in the water.
This is also
we had I got a similar story. This is a few years ago. I worked with some guys, and we were up in Little Egg Harbor on sort of like the inside canals. You ever been up there where it's like, you have one canal to get through and everything else is just flat mud? And all of us were fishermen except for Mike. He was a sailboat, blowboater. And we got run up on a little mud flat. And it was obvious, people are, in the channel, literally, 10 feet away going by in boats, and we're sitting right there and we're not going anywhere. So my blowboat buddy, he says, I'll jump in. I'll push this back off. And we're like, okay, that's cool. Thanks. And so he's used to the fact that if a sailboat runs aground, you're in 6 feet of water. And not realizing that we were in about 12 inches of water. So before we know it, he strips down and he's buck naked because he thinks he's going in the water. And he jumps over the front end of the boat and grabs a hold of the bow. And the water's up below his knees. And there's these boats flying by 10 feet away. And he's sitting there kind of trying to dodge, getting away from everybody seeing him. It was funny. But
that's funny.
Wow, we got way off topic. But I think this is a good format. I think we're going to stick with this format. Folks, if you've got anything to add to this or if we're missing something, shout it out. Let us know. And Nicole, I hope that was a deep enough dive into the world of specs for you. If not, well, I don't know what else to say. Checking out what we got going on YouTube. A new video drops for this week. We put that great snakehead and largemouth video up.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, be sure to stick around to the end to watch that snakehead freak out on the release. Wasn't that fantastic?
That was pretty cool.
That was super cool.
You had us on the hook all the way to the end. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, cool. Because I showed the little clip right at the beginning, and then you don't get to see
You need a bigger net still.
I still need a bigger net. Not as deep as yours. I need a bigger, rounder net.
You need both.
We hit the mark and passed that 350 subscribers goal on YouTube, and our random comment winner was Zach F., who won a Bass Pro Shops gift card. And I'm still trying to find Zach F. That's one of the things I realize is on YouTube. It's really hard to find those folks that comment. So, hey, Zach, give me a shout out. We're going to try to get that to you. And if you're not Zach, don't reach out.
I'll be Zach.
I'm only going to give it away once. I am going to go to a new format for a monthly giveaway with multiple ways to enter. That's going to launch August 1st. And I'm going to do a $25 Bass Pro Shops gift card. I'm going to do that monthly.
Nice.
Deep pockets here in unemployed
tens of dollars,
COVID. Yeah. As always, too, if there's something you'd like to see us cover on YouTube, on the channel, let me know, and let's see what we can do about that. Looking at the magazine, the August issue of Chesapeake Angler just went to print, and it's going to be available around the end of the month. Make sure to be on the lookout for it. We had such a great brag board response that I added a whole second page of photos. So we got 2 pages of brag board. If you want to see your picture in print, send them to me at theanglerchesapeake@gmail.com. Make sure to include a byline, and then you have and attach the highest resolution image that you have that is still suitable for printing. I inevitably always get some folks that send pictures and it's a 160K file and it's, just doesn't work. So if you send them from your phone, make sure to send the largest file size possible. And that's all the stuff I have that's housekeeping and fishing report related. Let's blow some smoke. What's going on, Joey?
I said I haven't done anything. I've been doing more research. Did we talk on, was it podcast this one we talked about new sonar units?
You tickled that you were thinking about getting.
Yeah, I've done some more research because that's like a fall thing.
Yeah.
Mainly because there's nothing available to.
What are you looking at?
I think I'm probably going to go low rants, and there's a couple options.
So my advice was to get side scan.
Yeah.
Is you head that direction?
I'm trying to learn how to read it and use it first. It looks a lot harder than I think. Or it's a lot easier than I think, maybe.
I think it's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
There is a YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it in the show description. It's called Fish the Moment, and it's a young guy, and he does some of the most in-depth stuff on electronics. Really deep dives, and he's got a great video on side scan sonar. So check that out. The channel name is Fish the Moment. I don't know what that name
just subscribed.
Yeah, it's
well, it
it's
means
good
Fish
stuff.
the Moment.
Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty obvious there. No,
fish every moment. I don't know.
Fish every moment. Quit your job and go fish the moment.
Or just don't have a job. That's kind of.
He's got one of those nice YouTube channels where he has that clickbait picture, but it's.
I'm trying to make those clickbait pictures. Am I doing okay on that?
Yeah.
I think I get good. I'm learning all the stuff on YouTube, so you got to have the good thumbnail so that if people see it, they want to click on it.
Yeah.
And that's what they call their click-through impression rate.
You just take a mugshot of yourself and put it up there. You look pretty good.
Oh, no. We were talking about it on the other podcast. Is why is it little kids without teeth actually look cute, but then an adult, a grown man who's 53 years old, looks like he's a serial killer that should be living in a van or something.
Anyway.
So you're heading to the Lawrence. Which one?
There's multiple. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something that's like not $4,000.
Yeah. Good grief.
No, because they actually get up there. They get up to like 10. I'm like, holy cow! I want something that's a few $100 to start, and then you add all the crap on, and then that's about as much as I've done.
Side scan is definitely the way to go, though. But I don't think you need a big screen.
No, I don't. Well, I am. I don't know. I'm wondering because if I'm wearing my Costas, I can't see anything. I need to put my prescriptions on. Maybe I should get prescription.
So what I've got a 5-inch, the Lawrence Hook 2.5, and do not have the side scan. I just have the down scan. And that was my one probably mistake with that. I think we talked about that last week. But the 5-inch screen, that screen size is perfect. I don't think I wouldn't want it any smaller. And I don't think I need it any larger. Now, I haven't ever really seen the 7-inch sitting on my boat, so I can't say that 100%. But I get
5 from you.
Yeah, I get all the information I need.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want anything ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to make sure because I do really, and there's a lot of good video, especially with. I mean the popular boats. There's a lot on the natives and people wiring those and hooking them up, and there's so many attachments, and I got all the yak track or the track systems for yak deck stuff and ram mount.
Yeah. So,
and Native gave me that really clean piece on the side. I have so much access. I have a battery box. I mean, they set up the boat for me to do it.
Yeah. That's half the battle.
Because I'm not going to use it really till fall stuff anyway. Jigging and stuff. I don't know. I think it'd be fun
when you're looking for some deeper water and you want to catch some fish.
And then because I would like to fish into the winter and places that like the lake when it actually opens back up.
Oh, good grief!
There's some great fishing when you have the tools like that.
Hey, so St. Mary's Lake has been closed down while they're reworking on the parking lot. Well, the lake itself is open.
Lake is open. If you can get there.
Can hike a mile in.
Like Eric drug his kayak in a mile.
I know Darren from Rhino Fishing TV did too.
It?
Yeah, I think they may have done it together. I'm not sure, but I know he did as well. And man, that is a long way. I used Gaia, and I mapped it out.
It's like over a mile.
It was. I think the closest I could get to water from the road was 0.7 of a mile. So I'm not dragging my kayak 0.7 of a mile.
Well, then I'm thinking up and down the dam. Props to those dudes.
I know. That's just once you get it there, you actually got to get the boat down the dam to the water. I did one time back after all this started. They had Gilbert Run closed.
Oh, you guys did that?
Yeah, and we went over there and parked in the bottom lot, and then drug the kayaks up and around the dam to catch some of the smallest bass I've ever caught in my life. So totally not worth it. But hey, still, it was a day where the fish, you got to go fishing, and we were out of the wind. So
man, I got some of my best fishing memories at Gilbert Run.
Really?
My dad, I don't know how many years we did the fishing derby there.
Yeah.
Summer or spring and fall.
When you're a kid, little fish seem much bigger.
Well,
too.
they're bigger fish.
Yeah.
Well, fish. I don't know. Like I said, there's some of my best fishing memories there.
Yeah.
But that's a hike. But I think winter fishing, late fall winter fishing with side scan and stuff would be fun at the lake.
Yeah.
So
do you think that with the lake being closed down and it not getting any
those
pressure,
fish are loving it.
Well, do you think it's going to make for good fishing when they do open?
I have a feeling everyone and their dog is going to go in there after.
Yeah. You want to be the first guy on the lake.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I know a couple guys have been walking in, and fishing the banks that usually go in their kayaks, and they do pretty good. I mean, I'm terrified of that grass, and I don't want to step on a snake.
Ticks, snakes, and poison ivy.
Yeah, I don't want any of that right now.
Yeah.
And it's freaking hot.
Yeah. I'm not hiking in like that. No. And if I'm going to go fish, I want to be in my boat. I don't I've done the whole bank fish thing, and it's fine. But there's something about being able to read water, move water, and actually, I don't know, being mobile on a kayak has just been a game changer. And I wouldn't want to go back to the bank at all.
But I think that's kind of it. I've been looking at, I think I'm going to put a keel guard on my kayak and do some little things to my boat, but that's about it.
I've seen everybody talking about that of late. I haven't.
I've been a big fan of it for maybe because I deal with rental kayaks for work. I got really good at plastic welding, and it's not something I'm proud of. like fixing a hole from people dragging boat, and it happens a lot. If you don't have a nice set of wheels, we've been talking about wheels too, suspends.
Yeah.
I drug my dad's kayak out back with just a set of the scupper plugs. Man, and I moved those from I'm an idiot. I was moving those from the very back of the boat. I moved them up in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, that boat lost half its weight.
Yeah. By moving it to the middle?
Moving it to the middle? Yeah, because the way it's center.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was so nice. And it's, I drug it out back in those, but, because I think next year I'm going to use those suspends carts instead of my boondocks.
Suspends carts.
Suspends, they make really nice kayak carts.
Okay.
So, and you were talking about stress on the boondocks with yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you do have to it is tricky getting the boat on it, but they have some nice wheel systems too.
You're talking about like the Sea Tugs and the Wilderness systems and Malone and some of those things? You need to send me the link for what you're talking about.
Because I just set up
see it.
with my bending branches. He reps a lot of stuff for us. Like, I feel like it's a little more efficient system. I love my boondocks. I mean, it's easy. It's there. It's always there. I finally bought tubes that fit ours for the bike shop.
So my complaint with my boondocks is this. When you get where you need to go and you take one side off, because I'm fishing these little ponds, right, that are full of weed. I'm not rolling the boat down a ramp. Mm-hmm. Like if I go over to Mattawoman and go out at Slavin's or Mattingly Park, I drop the boat in the water, roll it down the ramp, hop in the boat, and then once I'm out in the water, I pull the wheels.
Yeah.
And stow them.
But I could put that right in the middle of the boat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah, but where do you put that when you're fishing?
So that's the thing. It's not like the boondocks. You roll it up.
Yeah. So, but here's my issue. When I'm pond fishing, or you've drug a boat 100 yards, and then you get it to this little tiny muddy launch, and you're putting it in this little shallow water pond that's full of muck, and you don't want to put those wheels. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to do, because I couldn't get in the boat without actually sitting on the wheels. If you follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I have to have the wheels off. So when I take that one side off and then flip it, that boat is now all sitting on all the weights on one side. And the boat's sitting sideways, and it's cockeyed, and stuff's falling all over the place. And I mean, it's hard enough to keep those little boats straight with gear anyway.
Yeah.
So that's my complaint. It's just that one side. Maybe somebody needs to make something that you can slide up underneath the stern of that boat that you can sit it on while you take your wheels off and reposition them and then pull away. Maybe that's something that needs to be done. I don't know. But that's been my issue with the boondocks, with the landing gear. I don't think I've had any issues with the stress on the kayak hull. I've been watching it. Mm-hmm. It torques a little bit. It flexes a little bit. But nothing that I think that's been damaged the boat. So, in Old Town, it's very anti-scupper plug hole cart. Yeah. Because they say that that's the weakest part of a hull. You put those in there, and it bends and torques. And I don't know how everybody else feels about that. I know Hobie actually makes a cart that uses a scupper holes.
Yeah. I just use it scuppers to pull around behind my house.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about all I'm using it for.
I can't really think that that's going to cause that much damage, and you shouldn't be storing your kayak on the wheels anyway, whether they're boondocks or whether anything.
Yeah,
you don't want your boat sitting on those wheels
in the heat.
Exactly. So that just doesn't make any sense. Maybe people do that, and that's a part of the problem. They're just saying no to all of it.
It wasn't until Jerry told me, like, my Yak Attack stakeout pole. Like, Native doesn't say anything about it, but because I shoved mine right through a scupper hole.
Do you
kind of anchor me?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to drill a trolley line. And I feel like I can build something out of a scupper plug to kind of protect that. I don't know. I don't use that a lot.
I don't use mine a lot. either, but I've done that too. Because I'm in a little pond. It's not like I'm getting blown around. I'll drive that snake.
I don't know. I had it. And I was when I was at St. George fishing right on the bridge, and that current was ripping.
Oh, really?
And I was using that. I was like, I should probably pull that up. I was like, I'm gonna snap something. That water was moving.
Gonna break something one way or the other.
But those suspense carts are like you drop the boat on it. It's not a scupper cart.
Yeah,
it's
like a sea tug.
Yeah, I'll just run a kayak store and we'll play with it.
Sea Tug's got the little kickstand thing where it'll hold the thing up and you kind of set it on. But then ultimately my problem with all of that is, where do you put that on the boat?
Yeah, it's just when you're done.
Yeah, I mean,
or when you're not using it.
The Boondocks is so clean and easy. It's just you flip them, you drop them right in, and then when you're on the water, you've got your reels right there with you. So, hey, anyway, my July KBF tournament closes today. I fished early morning yesterday morning in this heat, and it made no difference being out early in the morning on the water. Absolutely no difference at all. And then this morning I decided, it was the last day. I needed to fish the last day. I don't think I'd have felt right if I hadn't gone out and put a line in the water. And so I did this morning and caught a whole bunch of dinkfish. Caught a bunch of dinkfish yesterday, dinkfish today. I think the big fish in this heat, it's just too much energy for them.
Yep.
I did. I was
They're
telling
smart.
you. Yeah. I caught a pickerel today. It's the first pickerel I've caught probably in a month, it feels like. It's been a while. That poor fish, and I didn't even take him out of the water to release him. Now those little bass have been very feisty. You get them up over the boat and they're going nuts, and you put them in the water and they go nuts and they shoot off. That poor pickerel took a little Ned rig. I had him hooked right in the jaw, and I didn't even have to take the fish out of the water, but I took my pliers, and he's still half in, half out, and I snapped that thing, just twisted it, and the hook came right out, and he fell right back in the water and just sat there and stared at me. And I kind of reached out and touched his side and gave him a little push, and then he shot off. But it was almost like he was like, I don't want to expend any more energy. I'm done. I felt a little bad about that. That was the last fish I caught. I was like, I'm out of here. But I'm sitting in fifth. Maybe that'll hold up. I don't know. I haven't really checked this afternoon to see if anybody's put any other fish in. So fifth out of, I think, 14 this month.
Nice.
In July. And the August tournament registration has just opened. Yeah.
I'm actually going to hop on that one.
You know what I've been looking for, and I can't seem to find?
Bigger fish? You see what I did there?
Smart guy. No, I think it would be fun to do a team tournament.
Do they do that?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been able to find them. Like a 2-man or a 4-man or a 5-man team. And you could then take either the top 5 fish across the board or the top 5 fish for each angler. I don't know which way you would want to do it. So think about it. You could either double up and fish the same water and double your chances in the water, or you could take a different strategy and you could say, I'm going to fish this, you fish that. And
do it like we did my dorky high school golf days.
How's that?
You play 6-man, you take the best 4 scores.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what you're doing in a tournament. You're taking your best 5 fish.
Yeah, but you take... Yeah, never mind. I just thought of that one out loud.
But I was looking all over Tourney X today to see if I could see any team tournaments, because they did. I just saw Amped Up Outdoors did a snakehead tournament that way. Mm-hmm. It was 2 anglers, and you were doing. I think it was a West Side tournament for snakehead. And I thought that was such a unique concept, the idea of doing a team approach. I thought that would be cool, and I was thinking about that for a bass tournament. But maybe we just do a snakehead tournament. I don't know. But I'm not a big snakehead fisherman. You
just keep catching them.
I don't target them. It's because they're a bycatch. They're there, and I'm fishing for bass, and they're there, and you can't get around them. You got to work your way through the snakehead sometimes to catch the bass. And I don't ever come away with like multiple catches on a day.
But you need to keep. Remember we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Or rockfish
versus
snakehead bite night, and I'll cook them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I did tell you, I think I bought catfish last night, and I think it was cod. When I ate it, I was like, because I was telling Jess, it was different. It was huge. It was flaky. The way it just tastes like cod.
Yeah. Somebody just said "see," and they saw, and they said, "Oh, is that a catfish?"
I mean, I wasn't complaining. It was
cod.
I did a beer batter, and it was delicious. But yeah, we need to do that in the next couple. But Jerry still has part of my snakehead, so.
I wonder if he still has that in his freezer.
He shouldn't have eaten it if he was a smart man. Because that was a smaller one. Those are the good ones.
Well, I
want that 20-incher. That's got the good meat.
Some of the places that I've been catching snakehead, I don't want to eat a fish out of that.
Well, that's most of the places around here.
It's true.
Mattawoman or something like that.
Mattawoman would be fine.
Yeah.
Mattawoman
I feel like Mallows Bay might have something in it.
I think Mallows Bay would be okay.
That iron.
Mallows Bay, I think, would be okay. Oh, no, I think it'd be fine.
I was just joking about the iron.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. But some of these little ponds, I mean, they're pretty skanky. They smell pretty funky.
That one was pretty dark and dank.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure that's going to be a snakehead that's going to go on my table. But, if I caught one out Mallows Bay or Mattawoman.
You one jump in your boat?
Yeah. Just, the random bycatch of paddling a kayak.
The Slayer.
So that's it for me this week.
So you're doing August KBF?
Already signed up, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Signed up, ready to go. I'll do a little bit of traveling during the month of August, so I won't have as much time to fish. And hopefully sooner rather than later, these Eastern Shore boys are going to turn their attention back to hunting and lay off the poor fish over there on the
Well, I was going to say, because I think I'm going to do August. I mean, we're going to explore August.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we keep talking about going places.
Yeah, I'm ready. I am ready to go. And those little mill ponds over on the Eastern Shore are calling my name. You know what I'd love to do is go over there bright and early one day, fish it a whole day, find somewhere to stay overnight, and then fish the next day at a different one, and then come home. So we get a 2-for-1 kind of
still have one of the key to our old apartment in Easton. It's been occupied for the last 3. I mean, I was only there for you once.
Knock.
Jess was there for 7 years.
Well, you wouldn't have to knock. You just open the door since you have a key.
Hopefully they changed the key. I mean, I didn't live there long at all, but look, sorry, I just stumbled in.
Sorry, sir.
I bet you can find a good hotel right around now, price-wise.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Airbnb.
Yeah.
I'd have to reserve it because you're banned.
I'm banned. That's the other podcast people know about that, but I'm banned from Airbnb.
and the really cool part about that story is you're not exactly sure why.
I'm not sure why, but I still to this day I've tried to make an account, log in, and instantly get shut down because you have to send in your driver's license and all.
Yeah.
I'm banned.
Oh no, not this guy.
VRBO. We'll try that.
Ginger is out. He's on the do not book list. You got anything else before we shut this one down?
No, I feel like we talked a lot on this one.
This was good.
Pretty good.
If you're looking for us, folks, facebook.com/Angler Magazine Chesapeake. On Instagram, I can be found at BN Rains. Joey, you're found at
Joey Sikorsky
24. You can find the magazine at Chesapeake Angler. We post a lot of stuff on that Instagram, so if you want to see some fish, check that out. YouTube, as we were talking about earlier, youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. Got a lot of videos. We're dropping 1 or 2 a week at this point. And having a lot of fun with that. And, of course, you can read the e-magazine online at ChesapeakeAnglerMag.com. So check out the website there. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
It's about the storm outside.
I know. I saw that. Is that where you're peeking out the window?
Oh, I hear it now.
Yeah. Well, I got my headphones on. So
what?
What? Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.